Hi everyone, this is the third of our series of video lectures on Chapter 10. In this video we'll talk about natural resources and begin a discussion of asset retirement obligations. Natural resources include timber tracts, mineral deposits, and oil and gas deposits. They can be distinguished from other assets by the fact that their benefits are derived from their physical consumption. For example, mineral deposits are physically diminished as the minerals are extracted from the ground and either sold or used in the production process. On the contrary, equipment, land, and buildings produce benefits for a company through their use in the production of goods and services. Unlike those of natural resources, their physical characteristics usually remain unchanged during their useful lives. The initial valuation of natural resources is simply the purchase price plus any other costs necessary to bring the asset to condition and location for use. More frequently, though, the company will develop these assets. In this situation, the initial valuation can include acquisition costs, exploration costs, development costs, and restoration costs. Acquisition costs are amounts paid to acquire the rights to explore for undiscovered natural resources or to extract proven natural resources. Exploration costs are expenditures such as drilling a well or excavating a mine or any other costs of searching for natural resources. Development costs are incurred after the resource has been discovered but before production begins. They include a variety of costs such as expenditures for tunnels, wells, and shafts. Restoration costs include costs to restore land or other property to its original condition after extraction of natural resources ends. Because restoration expenditures occur later, after production begins, they initially represent an obligation incurred in conjunction with an asset retirement. On the other hand, the cost of heavy equipment and other assets a company uses during drilling or excavation usually are not considered a part of the cost of the natural resource itself. Instead, they are considered depreciable plant and equipment. However, if an asset used in the development of a natural resource cannot be moved or has no alternative use, its depreciable life is limited by the useful life of the natural resource. Sometimes a company incurs obligations associated with the disposition of the property, plant, and equipment, and natural resources, often as a result of acquiring those assets. For example, an oil and gas exploration company might be required to restore land to its original condition after the extraction process is completed. Accounting guidelines were needed because there was considerable diversity in the ways companies accounted for those obligations. Some companies recognize these asset retirement obligations, sometimes referred to as AROs, gradually over the life of the asset, while others did not recognize the obligation until the asset was retired or sold. Generally accepted accounting principles now require that an existing legal obligation associated with the retirement of tangible, long-lived assets, including natural resources, must be recognized as a liability and measured at fair value, if the value can be reasonably estimated. When the liability is credited, the offsetting debit is to the related asset. These retirement obligations could arise in connection with several types of assets. Let's take a bonus break and continue with our Chapter 10 scavenger hunt. The scavenger hunt bonus phrase for this video is left in this semester. Well, that's all for this video. In the next video, we'll visit illustration 10-6 in the textbook and discuss an example of capitalized costs of a coal deposit, including a calculation of capitalized restoration costs and the related asset retirement liability. See you next time.